to look to the horizon, not the cloud. I've been storming where the scope too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around. You was not quite what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is the best for rise. You're done there. By the time you see you, you're not surprised.
Happy Thanksgiving from DSP News and GTG Networking Productions. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. And as expected, I've been hitting the eggnog kind of hard, but I'm here. I hope you guys are here too. We're going to be here with two people that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and I'm very entertained by. Snort, Burnell, and Mr. Stuffs. Apparently, Phil has some problems. Phil always has problems, but even on Turkey Day, he has some problems. Apparently, well, for one, he is nervous about no new pledges for the Patreon goal, even though they supposedly hit the Patreon goal. What do you call it? A soft hit? We'll get into that. Apparently, a bald spot also. He's been balding for a while. Let's be honest, and he's been combing his hair back to cover it for quite a while. That's neither here nor there. We'll address that a little bit. We're gonna get Snort Burnell's version because it's always highly entertaining, and then we're gonna get Mr. Stuff's version after that. We'll go in, give some more analysis. It'll be great. Now, that's not the only thing. Shouts out to Doom. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. But apparently, Phil has some problems. Some more problems, and these are serious, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, Phil's convenience store across the street is run out of the essentials. Oh my gosh. I will have the link to the Kiwi forum pages in the actual video itself in the background, as I've been doing lately. And I'll also have some stuff pulled off Twitter from Dragon Killer if he has anything up. In the last video I said Dragon Slayer. My apologies. You know how I get once I hit the sauce. But my apologies. Shouts out to Dragon Killer as well as everybody else on Twitter. Happy Thanksgiving to all those guys too. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Phil has problems. He won't be able to sustain his gout on this Thanksgiving. No real turkey. None of the great fixings. Microwavable brownies from Hungry Man. Ugh. It's terrible. How is it that a man who has a 10-year legacy, who believes he should be in the Guinness Book of World Records, have to be sustained to this? No maid, to cook his meals, no friends to praise him on his accomplishments, to tell him, hey Phil, you were the lucky one. You're the one who made it. You're the one who was able to parlay this into a business of sorts, despite all of the backlashes, all of the shortcomings. Riveting. Ladies and gentlemen, as you guys are around your friends and family, as you're enjoying your turkey, your ham, or whatever it is that you're indulging in, while you're having your drinks of choice, whether it's some eggnog and bourbon, like me and the rest of the guys here, whether you're having your wine, your champagne, your sparkling, what do we got over there? Your Welch's sparkling grape juice, which is delicious, by the way. Just remember that Phil is on his own. He has to fend for himself. We did the virtual food drive for him. We were rather successful. We were only expecting one snort. We got a few. So that, in turn, was successful. We tried to send that over to Phil, but apparently Phil was not available for comment. It's a shame. But these things happen, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, we will continue to fight the good fight and bring you the news as we do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. a GTG network and productions. Let's go ahead and get into these two videos. Yet again, happy holidays. Snort. And you guys know the catchphrase, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Oh my god. Sound good?
Yep.
Tomorrow on the podcast, all right? I'm strongly considering, I'm going to think about this overnight, finally kind of spilling the beans a little bit on what's been going on with me looming behind the scenes and the fact of why I think that I may not be able to live here anymore soon.
About time.
I may have to sell my house in 2018, which I don't want to do.
I might lose the house. There's nothing I could do about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, I'm stupid.
Hey, those buggy life mechanics, what can you do? Who knew that having a grown-up house, having a grown-up house and a grown-up condo was going to be such a problem? Who knew? It's all right, Phil. Nothing you could do, right? Buggy life mechanics. It's the way the game goes. You're going to have to rage quit one day.
I don't want to lose the house and have to move somewhere smaller or move back to Connecticut, but it looks like I might have to. I don't know. We have to see how stuff goes. But I might talk a little bit about that, too.
That's your fault. You created that business model. You created a flawed business model, and now you're saying there's nothing you could do about it?
There wasn't. There was nothing I could do about it. I'm sorry.
All right. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling, and we'll see how the podcast runs, how long it goes, all right?
Patreon.
Now, the good news is we have soft hit the monthly goal.
What does that mean?
Soft hit. What does that mean? It means that right now, as long as every single pledge that's already pledged to my Patreon, as an ongoing monthly recurring thing, as long as they all clear and they go through, we've hit the monthly goal and we'll be doing the marathon guarantee.
Okay.
All right. However, I just want to forewarn everyone, it's not a guarantee. There's a chance that a bunch of people, maybe it'll get declined, or people may pull their pledges last minute, which happens sometimes. And we may not hit the goal. We're not 100% guaranteed, but we've soft hit it, which means we're in a pretty good position. All right. In the next 8 days, if anyone pledges, you're basically just solidifying the fact that this event is going to happen.
What?
You're confirming and kind of locking it in that it's definitely going to happen.
What you just said.
So, if you've been on the fence about pledging because you're like, I don't want to pledge because maybe the goal won't happen, if you pledge, you're pretty much guaranteed to have the goal happen. But
You have to pledge. I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills. Anything for this, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'll be honest. Since I announced that we soft hit the goal last week, I've had 0 new pledges.
You're an idiot, though.
Wow. 0. So I think what's happened is people are like, oh, we hit the goal, that's fine then, don't have to pledge. That's not the case. There's still a chance that, something might happen with these pledges not going through. I'm not a whiny baby. I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous. I have no fucking self-control.
Nope.
Okay? The reason I'm a little nervous is because no one additional has pledged since I announced that we soft hit the goal. And it's basically hinging on everyone's pledges are going to go through, which almost never happens.
But you did that to yourself. Why would you announce a soft hit on the goal when you haven't hit the goal? And also, almost by proxy, why would you announce that anyway if you were planning on trying to siphon them for more money anyway? Remember, Phil, it's the holiday season. You're about to lose the house. You need as much money as you can, so you have to invoke a level of desperation to continue to bring that money in, while at the same time invoking confidence that, hey, we're close to the goal, but I really have a lot of this looming around me. There's a lot of things I can't control this, okay? Just buggy mechanics everywhere. Any support would be very much appreciated. How is this hard? Has the con game... Are you starting to get lazy at the con game now? This is terrible. And this might be just the eggnog talking, but this is horrible. For shame, sir. If you're going to rip these kids off of their holiday money, if you're going to take little Jimmy's money that grandma gave him, you got to work a little bit hard for this. Okay? You got to... Let's be honest, Phil. And I'm going to help you out here a little bit. With the EA debacle of Battlefront 2 and the whole loot box situation, and then with Call of Duty, Activision going back on its word about everything being cosmetic only, now it's turning into all these variants and whatnot. There is money out there to be made, Phil. There is some real money to be made. Oh, you didn't know that I follow gaming, ladies and gentlemen? Well, you guys did, but Phil didn't. But yes, Phil, I follow these things. These are trends. There is money out there to be made. You, if you played your cards right, And if you could deliver the message in a very cohesive yet consistent fashion, you could probably squeeze an extra $1,000 out of these guys. You could expose the loot box system and be reimbursed on it every single stream, and then put it on YouTube, because everybody likes to see loot box openings, even from a pig roach like yourself. I'm not trying to make you better, Phil. I'm just saying you need this money, and that money's out there to go and get it, but you're gonna have to work for it, sir. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy. Ask Tyrone and Pedro. DSP News.
Okay, so please consider pledging. Excuse me. Excuse me again.
Wow.
Shout out to Brickleberry fan. There's a new theory in regard to that big issue that you're having, stating that since you were in a de facto relationship for more than 3 years, your ex-girlfriend is entitled to half of your assets. Did I hit the nail on the head?
That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my goddamn life.
That does not exist. Whoever thought that exists, you are completely incorrect. There is nothing that could ever make... If you're not married and you haven't entered into some kind of a contractual or business relationship, there is no such thing as, oh, I have a claim on your asset. Oh, or also if you knock the girl up. Like, you know, that's another thing. But, no, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And whoever is creating that line of bullshit is a complete fucking moron. So congratulations if you're the moron who made that shit up out of thin air. You're stupid. Why am I toxic?
That is literally the dumbest theory I've ever heard in my life. It couldn't literally be further from the truth. Oh my god. That is really stupid. Like, C-Type did a 10-bit cheer. He said if you move back to Connecticut, God forbid...
I'm going to say, just by the level of saltiness there, it's not that. I kind of understand where you were going with that, though, a little bit, with the whole de facto thing. And if you had said 7 years, or what's considered a common law marriage, I might have tried to stretch that out with you. Maybe. But 3 years, The AdSense thing, though, I think if you were trying to bait that out, I think you might have been on the right track with that. But we'll see. We'll talk about that a little later.
Would you possibly hook up with old friends and play games together? If you guys haven't noticed, the people who I used to do videos with apparently weren't very happy with stuff about me, but they never told me. So now they don't talk to me anymore, you know?
Burn in hell, Burnell. And now I'm going to burn in hell for the rest of eternity.
Probably.
Because of it. You can't change who you are, I guess.
Nope. Buggy life mechanics.
Receding hairline OP, says Ensler. Dude, I don't have a receding hairline. This hairline is how it's been since I was a kid. I've always had this weird, like, one side of my head had way less hair than the other, like, on the hairline.
What sense does that make? I mean, let's be honest, you're a greaseball, and we get it. I've seen you do DSP tries-it, and yet run your hands through your hair after you've eaten your food, which is absolutely gross. And then, there's plenty of evidence out there. Plenty of evidence of you wearing the same shirt multiple days in a row. Sweat stains and all. I understand that you don't go outside almost at all anymore. But it doesn't mean you have to live like a total slob. Just saying. It'd be different if you're running the air conditioner. You know? There might be some exceptions I might give you. Maybe. But remember, Phil, you're trying to conserve on the bills. You know what I mean? You're pissing in the pot and throwing it out the window. You know, we're not running the heat at all. Just the fireplace a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We're cutting back on the home phone. You know, you need the business internet for the business or the job. Whatever it may be. You know, it is what it is, Phil. You know, the garden outside is already dead, so now you have to figure out how you're going to go ahead and make yourself more self-sustaining. That's going to require work. The point, though, Phil, the point is that you're kind of a mess, and your hair is falling out gradually, and your hairline is receding gradually. It was going to happen. Like, you have no one to take care of you, so you're a total mess. Ugh. DSP News.
People have been saying receding hairline for 10 years I've been on YouTube. Yeah, I've never lost any hair. It's just...
We'll see, Phil. to be honest, when Panda was there, she was making the bed, doing the laundry, vacuuming the floor, you know, being a good maid. I mean, girlfriend. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, you weren't going to see the hair on the pillow or on the floor or in the sink or in the tub. And I'm taking a very, very big assumption jump on that tub situation. We know how you are about showers. I mean, in truth, someone was always cleaning up the mess for you. Let's be honest. We all remember what it was like before her when you were just chucking grease into the toilet. I'm just saying. DSP News.
Not even. I have a crooked face. Call it my crooked.
You have a crooked face. Okay, I'm just gonna let that go for right now.
Crooked face hairline. There you go.
Oh my
Filled
God.
with the oddly shaped crooked head.
So, you would rather tell people that you have a crooked face and an oddly shaped head than just admitting that you're losing your hair. Oh boy.
There you go. And I'm not a children's entertainer. Oh my God. Can you guys stop doing with these stupid cheers? Look at this. The rantings of like a 5-year-old. King of hypocrisy. Phil, is it true? You grew your hair longer on top of your head to cover up a bald spot? I don't know. I don't even know if I might have a bald spot. I don't know.
You do have a bald spot.
No. I can't see the back of my fucking head. How would I know?
You don't need to. We have mirrors for that. And you do know that your eyes can move, right? Up, down, left, right. You do know this, right? Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm just saying. It's one of those human mechanics that we have. It could be buggy, though. You might be right, Phil. It could be buggy. But I'm just saying. You can do these things. Your eyes are an amazing creation. You might want to use it a little bit more often before you lose it. Just saying. No one keeps 20/20 forever. Well, it varies. If you took care of yourself and shit, and you ate the right fruits and vegetables and things like that, you might have. Either way, let's continue.
I didn't grow my hair to cover it. I used to have super short hair, remember? I used to have a crew cut all the time, so if I had a bald spot...
Oh yeah, that's back in that whole hate army days. Yeah, that's back when, remember when you were out there on blip? You know what I'm saying? Chalking it up, shitting it up. Yes, I do remember those days. Rather vividly.
I couldn't see it, and then I just grew my hair out and started combing it back. It has nothing to do with this. I have no idea if I have a bald spot in the back of my head. I'm getting a haircut next week. I'll ask my hairdresser. Do I have a bald spot? I prefer a penne.
Mm-hmm.
Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat.
Yep.
Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar.
Quite a bit.
I have a micro penis.
Don't know anything about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and transition over to Mr. Stuffs. And let's try to go ahead and get the full story behind what's going on here. It should be riveting. I would hope so. Amazing. Here we go. DsPgaming, silly cheers, and wow, talking about the memes, talking about John and Howard. It should be good. I'm looking forward to it. And here we go.
All right, folks. And then, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, if you're here live on the stream, you probably enjoy my live streams.
Not really.
If not, what the hell are you doing here? What is your problem? What are you thinking? Why are you here? Get out.
I've been, I feel that despite great people like Dragon Killer, as well as others, that I can provide something to the tracker community. Thank you, DSP, for asking me on why the hell am I here. And with that being said, I feel like I have at least an hour out of my day that I could use to try to bring some common sense to you. Now, granted, you're not going to hear it. And I've already kind of come to terms with that. Now, granted, that whole thing with Snort Burnell over the last couple days, though, has cut you deep. Cut you to the white meat. And you feel a certain type of way. And, as I had reported, you were trying to flag down his videos. and apparently you weren't successful at it. That's okay, Phil. Buggy business mechanics. I get it. But still, I feel like I could provide something, Phil. A source of possible entertainment. Just another way of looking at things. Something. Riveting, isn't it? Almost compelling. Yeah. Slightly entertaining. Slightly. I guess you could say I'm trying a little bit harder than you are. Guess that counts for something, right? Now I think about it, it's Thanksgiving too. I should go ahead and I should text Tyrone and be like, I hope he's doing alright. I think he's actually helping Leanna cook. Now I think about it, I think he said that she was going to save me a plate too. I really should go over there and get some of that too. I'm so full off this eggnog though. Oh my gosh, this buggy drinking mechanics. What am I going to do? Well, I know Pedro's going to go out later. So maybe I can have him drop the plate off. Yeah. Maybe he can do that for me. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. Yeah. Back to whatever you were saying. I lost my train of thought.
I'm kidding. But anyway, Ron Mexico, who did a 10-bit cheer, and he said the two-time, yeah. Okay, I have no idea what that's a reference to, but thank you for the cheer, Ron Mexico.
Winner. 1993, 1994, Blockbuster video game champion in the online gaming community. You're looking at the true international video gaming superstar. And nobody's gonna get in my way today. You got it?
Oh, Dr. Disrespect. A god amongst men. A god amongst men. Happy Thanksgiving to him, too.
To Ron Mexico, who did a 10-bit cheer. It says, back to 1993-94 Blockbuster Video Game Champion. Oh my god. Yeah, I entered the Blockbuster Video Game Championships. I did. I did terrible, but I did enter them when I was a kid. I remember it was stupid because it
was stupid because you lost, or it was stupid because it was stupid? I'm just asking. I'm just curious.
It was so dumb. So one of the games was NBA Jam, right?
I love NBA Jam. Actually, I have that emulated currently. I should probably play some Tournament Edition. Oh, I'm sorry, back to what you were saying.
And I was like, oh, NBA Jam must be like, you gotta be good at the game. So I was playing NBA Jam against all my friends, to try to get better. And I got really good at the game. You get there, oh, well, it's you have to score points against the computer on the hardest difficulty in like 5 minutes. I was like,
yeah. Actually, I'm sure I could pull up the rules on how that used to work. So I'm sure you had to know that when you got to the Blockbuster. When you arrived, I'm sure they told you what the criteria were. I'm just saying. I'm sure that was conveyed to you, Phil, or at least to your parents, so your parents could trickle that down to you. It could be buggy parenting. I don't know. It could be. It's very possible.
What? That's not even like what the purpose of the game is.
Actually, is there any Blockbusters even around anymore, or are they just completely gone?
And that's what it was. That's how stupid it was. They had Clay Fighter. And again, I was pretty good at Clay Fighter. I got good at the game competitively. Oh, in 3 stages, get the highest score. What? No one even had tested the moves in the game to see how many points you got for them. How the fuck do you get the highest score? It was so stupid. It was really like the dumbest thing. The stupid Blockbuster World Championships. I remember those. But anyway, I digress. Shout out to Brickleberry Fan. He did a 10-bit cheer. He says, there's a new theory in regard to that big issue that you're having, stating that since you were in a de facto relationship for more than 3 years, your ex-girlfriend is entitled to half of your assets. Did I hit the nail on the head? That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my goddamn...
Alright, so let me jump in and try to help you out with that. The de facto situation for 3 years, if you had said 7, Project 7, you might have been going somewhere. I'm just saying. You might have been somewhere. 7 years is considered common law marriage in some places. Actually, in a lot of places, to be honest with you. But that's not necessarily the case. If it is the Wrath of Leanna, if it is the Conqueror Tyrone, if it is the Great Crusader Pedro, if it is the football team, the basketball team, or whoever else that's going to come squatted up with Panda to come and take her half of the house back, or all of it, it's going to have something to do with that Google AdSense, which is one of the things that's going around. Because she had a Google AdSense that wasn't tainted and Phil had none. So there was some money that had to transition there for a little while Phil was while Phil was shitting it up, you know, for that week or so when he was jumping from partner network to being conned to back to another partner network. That's where most of the people are really starting to come into terms with that. Now, depending on how that situation worked out, kind of flows into how the tax situation might have gone. So it's very possible, because yet again, Phil can't see into the future, nor can he even try, nor does he have any real forethought at all, that because of that situation and whatever money that may have been gained or lost, if he didn't pay the taxes on it, he's going to have a problem. And if he's broke, or if his money's wrapped up in other affairs, buggy financial mechanics, as you might know, he may not have the money to drum up. But then again, that's still a very small part on what the general assumption is about what's holding Phil back. See, a couple people in the comment section lately have brought up some very good points. And one of the things is it possible that Phil has been actually trying to write off every single thing that he buys on his taxes? Which, you know, people try to do that a lot, actually, every year. You try to eliminate as much as you can, and you'd be surprised what you can write off. The thing is about Phil is, well, Phil's stupid and greedy and buggy mechanics. So these are three things that are working against him, and it's very possible he's overextended himself. Now, when I say that, I think it wasn't just this year, well, not last year or the year before. I'm thinking a couple of years back, and that stuff finally came up on him. That's where the audit comes into play. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never been audited. I'm sure most of you haven't been audited. But I've been told it's a rather scary thing. Now, granted, it's not really a scary thing. If you have played everything on the up and up, you're fine. Most people who have been audited, at least people that I know, they usually get money back. It's usually the government who's like, all right, we took a little too much from you. Here you go. It's really no big deal. And most of the time you get audited and you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? And to a degree, it's kind of a luck of the draw. But I do also know a few people who've been audited year after year after year. It's buggy IRS mechanics. Let's just go with it. But for Phil, when you're a con man and you're trying to rip everybody off because everybody owes you, you don't have to be held responsible for anything. You tend to do stupid shit. And because of that, this stuff tends to come back on you in some way, shape, or form. Now, granted, we don't know what the full situation is yet. And being on this lovely Thanksgiving Day, we're hoping that he may say something in his podcast. It might be fruitful. He's certainly trying to gas it up, like it might mean something. But then again, Phil does that. We'll have to wait and see if it bears fruit.
Life. That does not exist. Whoever thought that exists, you are...
I will say, he is kind of salty, though. I mean, he should have just laughed it off and move on. But he's... well, let's continue.
Completely incorrect. There is nothing that could ever make... If you're not married and you haven't entered into some kind of a contractual or business relationship...
You did have a business relationship, to a degree.
There is no such thing as, oh, I have a claim on your asset. Oh, or also if you knock the girl off, like, you know, that's another thing.
Wow, Phil, that's a little bit disrespectful, Phil. I am fortunate enough to have ladies in my audience, and, you know, that's a bit disrespectful, Phil. I'm just saying. Like I said, just because Tyrone's giving her the long stroke doesn't mean you have to act like that. And remember, it ain't no fun if the homies don't get none. So Pedro's coming next too. So you need to ease up there, Phil. You got to ease up. I understand with the situation with the soap and all the excess junk, quote unquote, that was left in her office, and how a couple of your top gunners, some of your main contributors, were like, "Hey Phil, why don't you go ahead and send me a sample?" You know, that sin of Leanna, that whiff of Panda, and you were reluctant about doing that. Actually, you downright said no. I understand that some of the people that who are your top contributors may have wanted to get a little piece of Panda. You know, they're just desserts. They've certainly paid enough for it. But I understand you don't believe in sharing is caring. I understand. But I would say, Phil, for people who fork over their hard-earned money to you, they could just get a little bit. It's just soap. It's just a little piece of Leanna. It's not a lot. You know, remember when you used to do we used to go on Twitter and say, "Oh, you felt so lucky every time you woke up in the morning next to her," and all that. You remember that, right, Phil? You know, when you were trying to make yourself not seem like a nerd because you had a girlfriend, you felt good about it. You know, when you used to send her downstairs to clean up the house and make you breakfast and have it all done at a certain time so you could get on stream. You remember all that, right, Phil? So, you know, if some of these guys here who don't exactly have the time to get themselves into a relationship, and, you know, you shoved Panda down their throats for a number of years, they may want to see what a little bit of that is about. And maybe, just maybe, the soap might have been their only real connection to it. And you couldn't even give them the luxury of that. I might be overthinking that. Or you're just greedy. I'll let the audience go ahead and decide. Let's continue.
But no, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And whoever
stupid
is creating that line of bullshit is a complete fucking moron. So congratulations if you're the moron who made that shit up out of thin air. You're stupid. That is literally the dumbest theory I've ever heard in my life. It couldn't literally be further from the truth. Oh my god.
Now, this is coming from the man who has a condo and a house that you've been making payments on for years, and you're about to lose one of them. The one that you care about the most, in fact. You're supposed to be a Let's Player, and yet your real job, not a business, your job, is to beg for money from children on the internet. And we're supposed to just let that happen like that's just something normal. Okay. Like you said, buggy life mechanics.
That is really stupid. Shout out to YOLO Dopper for a 10-bit cheers. If you move back to Connecticut, will it be hard adjusting to living in a small condo? Well, let me put it this way. Alright, let me put it this way. The worst part about living in that condo, there were two things that really sucked. Well, let me take that back. There's three things that...
Three things. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just put one out there now. De facto. Okay, this one is locked in. The greasy toilet. I know, Phil. That was tragic. That was terrible. And given the amount of magazines that you had in there, you must have really had to... You spent quality time in that bathroom. So for you to defile it again with that bacon grease, what are the other two reasons? I'm dying to know. I'm dying to know.
Kind of really suck. All right. The first thing is the weather. The weather there on the East Coast, in Connecticut in particular, is terrible. There's heavy-ass snow and ice in the winter, meaning, number one, I have to shovel, which I can't do because I have a bad back, and I would constantly keep re-hurting my back because I had to do that to clear it all. And also, there's danger of slipping and falling and all kinds of shit during the winter. It's terrible. That's number...
Okay, so you're clumsy. First off and foremost, you shoveling some snow and breaking up some ice and moving that out of the way might be the best thing for you because it's the most exercise you've had in a number of years. I'm just saying. Two, I doubt that your back is as bad as you say it is. To be perfectly honest with you, and I said this a couple of videos ago, the way that you have to, move, kind of torque yourself this way and that way to look at the calendar all the time, all that leaning forward and whatnot, that might be the closest thing to sit-ups and crunches that you ever really get to. So theoretically, your core, though there's nothing there but hot dog buns, I guess you could say it's really more of a pig belly. Yeah, pig belly. It's still tightened in some way, maybe. So, it is what it is. At least you've put this section to work in some way, shape, or form. And more importantly, you've stretched out your back. I'm just saying. So you're not in that bad of shape. It might be the best thing for you. Just saying. Because like I said, you haven't done anything else. So it is what it is. It's the grind. It's the mean streets of Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? You got to go hard. It is what it is.
For one, really bad.
You know what I'm saying? You were in Seattle. You loved it. But you weren't willing to go and get a job, even a part-time job, to preserve it. So, and it's almost, I wouldn't say it's too late now. It might be too late now. So, you're going to have to hit the grind. And the grind is to go back to the mean streets of Connecticut. You got to get it done. It is what it is. The weather is probably the least of your problems. But let's go ahead and get into the rest of it.
Number two, the quality of the internet there was not good. If you guys remember, constantly there'd be issues with the internet would fuck up, the internet would drop out, the internet would crap out on me. And every time I would call tech out, they would say, well, it's probably because the equipment in the basement's old and garbage, and sorry, but just because you're the only home-based business in this giant condo facility, we're not going to redo the internet for you, so too bad. So literally, there's nothing I can do about bad internet, and that was one of the major problems that I always had there. If you remember, I only live streamed for a year when I lived in Connecticut, and it was not good. Constantly, there were issues with the internet. At least 3, 4, 5 major times a year, the internet would be down or not working properly for days at a time. And that's obviously, since I moved out here, I have pretty much flawless internet. So I don't want to go back. That would be a major downgrade. The audio quality of my streams would be much worse because here, my office is soundproof. Sounds good, clear audio. There, it sounded like an echo, like I was in a cave, right? And there's nothing I can do to improve that either, because of just the way that it is. There wouldn't be an office set for my work. Instead, it would just be the living room with all my shit everywhere. There's a lot of negative things that would happen if I had to move back to Connecticut. A lot,
Well, let's be honest with you, Phil. I mean, whether your audio quality is better or not, I guess is up to personal interpretation. But let's be honest, Phil, you're going to have to sell all of that stuff to leave anyway. You said it yourself that you're not going to be able to take everything with you. So you're going to have to let all that go anyway. You're going to have to do the proverbial fire sale and sell all that off. So, to be perfectly honest with you, you can make yourself a nice chunk of change and then go back to Connecticut and buy all new statues. Because the statues you have now are garbage. You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to give it away to the people who have already given you large sums of money, you might as well just throw it away. Most of them are broken anyway, from what I hear. Excuse me. So either sell them or chuck them. As for your furniture, your living room set, all that stuff, you might as well just sell it. Your condo's not big enough for any of that. I mean, it might if you didn't have all that stuff, if you weren't hoarding all that stuff in there. But, you didn't break that habit. You know what I'm saying? You just shitted on your ex-girlfriend for her hoarding. It was okay but your stuff's fine because it's your stuff. You're going to have to sell all that anyway, Phil. You can't afford to pay all of that money to have it moved back. And unless you go ahead and set a separate Patreon goal to help you with your moving expenses, I mean, what's the point? So, yeah, you might as well just go ahead and get ready to sell all that stuff off. To be perfectly honest with you, you should be trying to sell that stuff off anyway, whether you have to move or not. It's not doing anything for you. You're not using any of it. Like I said earlier, or a while ago, those old arcade sticks, they're not worth shit to you. And that's if they even work. You know what I'm saying? Because we've all seen David Davison, for example, Volt Boy, Cruz, at least 2 other guys that I watch too who kind of break your videos down. Especially with all those button presses. Those buttons are probably worn out to the hilt. And then you don't like taking showers, so those buttons are probably clogged anyway. Ugh. Just sell it or throw it away, man. Just just for some space, just for some room to move around. Just saying.
My health wise as well as business wise. So it wouldn't necessarily be, oh, I have to readjust to living in a smaller place. That wouldn't be the big negative for me. The negative would be the downgrades to my life, right? My health and the business itself, you know, just the daily streams would not be as good anymore. All right.
At the same time, though, too, you failed at moving up. Here, let me jump into a bit of an explanation on that. Phil, as you moved up, you got lazy. And as you got lazy, your quality just went down, to be perfectly honest with you. I've heard videos from former fans of yours who said that when you were back in Connecticut, your reviews, everything you did felt real. It had some heart in it. It meant something. When you went to Washington, everything went to shit. You treated it like it was Hollywood, and it was just glitz and glamour, and a lot of them just tuned out. It was just unentertaining. You know what I mean? A good example, not necessarily a homework assignment, even though I haven't given one of those out in a while, but consider it as a freelance special report on some of your guys' parts. But then again, you guys don't really have to, because I'm sure a lot of you got very good memories anyway. Look at some of his old vlogs back when he was in Connecticut. Look how he looks at the camera. Look at how he expresses himself. And then look at him now. Back in the day, he could look directly at the camera. He could keep eye contact. And everything he spewed, for the most part, was legitimate. He had real emotion and feeling behind it. You could really see some passion behind it. You look at it now and it's all fabricated. Like, none of it seems legit. None of it seems real. He's forcing it, actually. You can tell. And to be honest with you, a lot of other people could tell too. So that was Phil's downfall in a lot of ways, to be honest with you. So him going back to Connecticut, he gives him a chance to start over. You know, when you have lemons, you might as well make lemonade. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Or limeade. Limeade's good too, actually. I like limeade. Limeade's actually pretty delicious. But you have to make best with what you have. Going back to Connecticut could work out for you. Go back to your to your old stomping grounds, back to the condo, and go back to start from the bottom. You might actually fall back in love with this thing, this business that you said you loved before. You might. You have nothing else. You can't do anything else. I mean, well, that's a lie. I wouldn't say you can't do anything else. You won't do anything else. So if that's the case, you might as well go back to a much smaller surroundings, and where you have to wake up and you have to look at everything around you. You've been humbled. You went from actually having a castle to back to having a shack. But in truth, you still have more than most. For all of your problems, for everything that you've given up, there's not too many people that can say that they had two properties. And some of the people who do have two properties were smart enough to profit off one or both. That's neither here nor there. Okay? That's a lot for you. Those are buggy business mechanics. There was nothing you could do. I'm just saying. But you going back to Connecticut could be good for you. It could be. It's where you had your start. Maybe you can rebuild. Maybe. Or maybe you could get yourself a part-time job and then try to do the whole Twitch thing. Do that. People would probably respect you more if you did get yourself a part-time job, come home wearing whatever uniform you're wearing, okay, from whatever job that you're working. You turn on your camera and be like, hey guys, I'm ready to stream. I'll be streaming in 10 minutes. You look exhausted, you look tired, but for the love of the game, you're there. People might donate to you. People might be like, hey, check this guy out. Isn't that Pig Roach? Wait a second, he's got a job? A job? For real? Huh. Wonder if his attitude's changed at all. Who could say? Something like this could help build some character in you. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. let's continue.
So that's why I hope I don't have to go back, but I guess we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. Black Mage C-Type did a 10-bit cheer. He said, if you moved back to Connecticut, God forbid, would you possibly hook up with old friends and play games together? If you guys haven't noticed, the people who I used to do videos with apparently weren't very happy with apparently stuff about me, but they never told me. So now they don't talk to me anymore, you know? And that's sad, but, you know, would I look up other old friends? Possibly. You know, there's a few people out there in Connecticut who, you know, not obviously I'm not talking about John or Howard, but I'm talking about other people who may be fighting games and stuff. You know, I might want to see if they're still around or whatever, but no, really, honestly, that's the other thing too. If I went back to Connecticut, it's not like I'm going back. The only thing there in Connecticut that's there for me is an over-expensive condo I can't fucking sell because the housing market tanked in Connecticut, and my parents. So it would be nice to see my parents once a week, and that's about the only positive I would get out of moving back to Connecticut. Literally every other thing. The taxes, the prices, the fucking weather, the quality of internet, the quality of my streams, a smaller place that's shitty. Like, every possible negative would happen again. So, I don't want to go backward. I want to at least stay where I am. I'm not even asking for, oh, massive, you know, I want a life improvement. No, I just want to stay where the fuck I am, you know? Like I told everyone, I'm very, very happy where I am here, you know, living in Washington. This is, like, for me, pretty much my ideal place. I like the moderate weather. I like, you know, how stuff is out here. Everything that I could possibly want is within arm's reach. Like, it's a couple blocks away. I don't have to drive long distances. I don't have to deal. I have great quality internet with great customer service with that internet. You know what I mean? Everything's improved since I moved out here. I don't want, if I go back, that would be terrible. That would be crippling, and that would be like a massive defeat in my life, you know? Which is why I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. Black Mage C-Type did a 10-bit...
Let me cut in. First things first. That's hands down one of the saddest things I've ever heard. Not really, but I'm going to try to act like... these buggy, emotional mechanics. Jesus Christ. First things first. You won't try to reconnect with Howard or John, even though you should. Those should be the two people you should patch things up with. OJ also, as well as a few others. You should try to patch things up with them, even if you guys aren't friends anymore. Even if you guys can't salvage that, which, you know, who could say? Because they seem like really good guys. You should at least go over there and try to make amends. You should. Okay? You should do that. You know what I'm saying? You just should. You should just try to make amends. Okay. You won't do that. You want to go ahead and kind of go around them and see if you can connect with other people. Which will do what exactly? You shitted on people who were actually close to you and did a lot for you. So you're going to go ahead and bypass them and try to get cool with other people who are probably still cool with John and all these guys? How does that work exactly? I don't understand. If I remember correctly, Connecticut had a pretty strong fighting game scene back in those days. And they were, you know, so you guys were, as I remember being described, as a brotherhood. So what the hell makes you think you can just go in there and bypass a group of people who are respected and hope to get cool with these guys? What sense does that make? Okay, let's go ahead and bypass that. The next thing, the quality of living, the quality of your job, so on and so forth, yada yada yada. Phil, you didn't do anything to preserve what you had. Basically, what you said is you were okay with being stagnant. You didn't want to continue to grow and improve. You going to Seattle was basically your crown achievement, and you just wanted to maintain. You wanted to be stagnant, really. And you didn't want to build upon that. You looked at that as the best that you would ever get, and you left it at that. You had your living maid. You had your overpriced house, way too big for two people. You never really had any plans to marry her. You certainly didn't have any plans to have children. Some say thank goodness for that. What was the point? Like, and you thought you were just going to live like that for the rest of your life? With no real clear direction except for hoping that everything just works out? It wasn't. It was, you were doomed from the beginning. You going back to Connecticut is the worst thing morally for you, but maybe the best thing to happen to you. Because for a little while, you succeeded. You had a measure of success, I should say. And then, so you were standing. You were on your own 2 feet, and you were standing there for a little while. And then you got on your hands and knees and you begged. You begged to hold on to it, which is what you're doing now. You're begging to do it, which is rather shameful, to be honest with you. So now, the only thing that you're probably close to owning, which is that condo, you have to go back to that, and you have to go back to your beginnings. Failure, sure, but at the same time, you still own something, but it's just not that house, is it? You don't like the idea that everything that was in that house either left you, either willingly or, you know, either willingly or against their will and whatnot, and someone else is going to take that house. But then again, someone else will actually treat that house better than you did anyway. And you weren't willing to fight for it. Begging your audience for money so you can live there and keep doing what you're doing was not fighting for that house. If you had went out and got yourself a part-time job, that would have been. You would have shown effort, and people could have sympathized with you more. But I've already spoken on that. Whether going back to Connecticut is a defeat for you or not, it doesn't matter. It's inevitable in a lot of ways. It's going to happen. So, if it's going to happen, then just accept it and keep it going. You went backwards because you really didn't know how to walk forward. It is what it is. That's why KO Gaming was almost dead from the beginning. You had that one hit. You had that one home run. And you were so happy about that you forgot to hit all the bases. So it didn't really even count. It is what it is. You going back is just the end game now. So whether you, and I wish nothing upon you, but if you end up going back to Connecticut and you just kind of spend the rest of your YouTube career there and you die there, it is what it is. In truth, you've come full circle. You should be a little bit more accepting of it. It'll mean something later on. Maybe. DSP News.
Here and apologized. He said he didn't mean to bring up bad memories with John Rambo or whatever. It's not even bad memories, because for me, there were no bad times. For me...
That's another problem, though, too. Key word, and I actually have a bit of respect for that person saying that he apologizes for bringing those bad memories up. I feel a certain type of way that he had to donate to get your attention so he could say that. But it's neither here nor there. John Rambo was probably the best thing that you had in your life, next to your parents. And you squandered that. Why? You had a person who was loyal, which is the only thing that we really ask from our friends, is to be loyal. You know what I mean? You're there. You have his back. He has your back. And then you have the bonus of Howard. You have his back. He has your back. How do you jack that up? Now, granted, there's stuff that happens, miscommunication, so on and so forth. But in truth, how do you mess that up? And how do you do that over a couple of $1,000s? I'm not saying, and nor do I condone, you cutting your friends' throats. But Jesus Christ, if you're going to do it, actually, I honestly, there's really probably no amount. But if I had to try to simulate being a pig, I mean, at least do it for a couple $100,000. You know what I'm saying? That you can put away so you could put it away for a rainy day, so you'll never have to worry about going back. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do that, but you did it for a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand. Were they not worth more to you than that? You're saying right now that there was no bad memories with those guys. Then how much did those memories really mean to you? Can you put it? I mean, it's obvious you can put a price on it. You put a price on your friendships. So how much are those memories worth, Phil? Just out of curiosity. Just wondering. Go ahead.
everything that happened when I lived in Connecticut was good. And then when I moved out here, then all of a sudden, apparently there's all this resentment and issues. It's like, well, if there were issues of resentment, maybe you should have said something when I was still in Connecticut so I could solve the issues rather than having them all fester inside and then all of a sudden you blow up 2 years later when I live across the country. You know what I mean? But I digress. That's not what we're going to talk about here today. There's no reason to get into that shit yet again. That was 2 years ago when they put out that stupid podcast or whatever it was. So who gives a shit at this point, right?
Wow.
Receding hairline OP, says Ensler. Dude, I don't have a receding hairline. This hairline is how it's been since I was a kid. I've always had this weird, like, one side of my head had way less hair than the other, like, on the hairline. Because people just like receding hairline. For 10 years I've been on YouTube. Yeah, I've never lost any hair. It's just not even. I have a crooked face. Call it my crooked face hairline. There you go. Filled with the oddly shaped crooked head.
Yeah, he has a clear bald spot. I'll try to get a picture of this up there for you guys. Jesus Christ. And it's like right down the middle almost too. God damn, dog. It's like a bald mohawk. Just no mohawk. Jesus Christ. See, the thing is, right? I remember Almighty Tevin talking about this a while ago. Shout out to Almighty Tevin. That he's always running his hands through his hair. And he was losing his hair already. That was obvious. But the fact that he kept messing with his hair just made it worse. And that's why it's receded as far back as it did. But not only that, but that's why, wow. I'll see if I can get pictures of this for you. I can screenshot this. Jesus Christ. Damn, Phil. I don't know, man. I'd say another 5 years, man. You're definitely going to be bald up top. Wow. Wow. Proper hygiene, Phil. It does matter.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, funny enough, to be honest with you, I'm gonna definitely try to get a screenshot of this. I'm gonna try. Because you know I forget shit. The way his headset, the way he had, like where he has his headset at on his head, is literally right over where that bald spot is. So I wonder if it constantly tugs at his hair. So you know how when he readjusts his headset sometimes and he tries to slide it back? Oh, wow. That actually kind of makes a lot of sense. And it's funny, too, because if you remember back years and years and years ago, he said that, you know, the proper gaming experience isn't having a headset on and you looking at a very small monitor to, you know, for the gaming experience. Man, them headsets may have came back and bit him in the ass. And then you won a $250 pair of Astros or some shit, too, right? Wow. Good luck to going back on Connecticut's dating scene with that. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. Can you guys stop doing with these stupid cheers? Look at this. King of hypocrisy. Phil, is it true? You grew your hair longer on top of your head to cover up a bald spot? I don't know. I don't even know if I might have a bald spot. I don't know. I can't see the back of my fucking head. How would I know? I didn't grow my hair to cover it. I used to have super short hair, remember? I used to have a crew cut all the time, so if I had a bald spot, I couldn't see it, and then I just grew my hair out and started combing it back. It has nothing to do with this. I have no idea if I have a bald spot in the back of my head. I'm getting a haircut next week. I'll ask my hairdresser. Do I have a bald spot? All right, there you go.
Wow.
Enough of these silly, really silly, stupid fucking questions. Okay.
Silly questions. I mean, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. This was a long video. It's been a while since we've had a video hit an hour. I think the last video I put up was maybe 40 minutes or something like that. So it's been a little while since we've had a video go this long. So yeah, it was nice. It's kind of nice, kind of getting it chatted up a little bit like that. In closing, I'll try to upload this today, which being Thanksgiving. Why not? The eggnog is still flowing well, so why not? I hope your guys' Thanksgiving is still going well. Phil is basically hit rock bottom, and he now has to accept it. So there you go. And it's very obvious right now. He's trying to put on a brave face, so to speak, Snort, but you could tell he's not. He's so unprepared. He is so unprepared. I promise. I'm not going to promise you because I don't even want to see that. If he really has to pack up and move, ladies and gentlemen, if he really has to go back to Connecticut, expect to see a couple of vlogs with very, very, very red, cloudy eyes. You can tell he'll be bawling in some of those vlogs. Do I wish for that? No. Will it happen? Probably. You can tell. And he's not ready. You can tell he is not ready at all. And the fact that his hair is starting to fall out, given the way he looks and whatnot, just he's falling apart. And he already is. He's already been falling apart. Once it's cemented that he has to leave, it'll only be worse. And to be honest with you, in closing, ladies and gentlemen, if he does have to leave that house, leave Seattle, leave Washington State in general. Just leave. Okay? There's no point in you sitting there and walloping in your own failure. If you're going to do it back home. Okay? Do it back home. And with that being said, since you have nobody else, spend a little bit more time with your parents. Okay? You know what I mean? Your parents are getting into their later years. Go over there and spend some real time with them. Not just once a week. Go over there and really spend some time with them. You know? Spend a couple of days over there. Do some shopping with them. Learn how to cook. Do something. Because Lord knows that one day you're really going to be alone. So go over there and just spend a little bit of time with them. Okay? Just try to be there for them and prove that you weren't a total failure to them. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for saying that. Not really. I'm not sorry for saying that. It's true. Just try to show them that you're worth a damn in the last bit of time that they may have. Do that. You failed at everything else that you've done. Don't fail at that. Okay, this is real talk now. I'm not even trying to joke now. Just try to be a good son to them in the end. Okay? Just try really, really hard to do that. To give your parents that much. Because I would assume that no parent wants to remember their children the way that if your mother or father Googled your name would remember to see the way you are. So in those last couple years, let them see little Philip, who comes to the house every other day, takes his mom out for nice walks, you know what I mean? Who sits down in front of his dad with a couple of beers, and they kind of chalk it up, try to build himself some character. Do that. Do that in the last years that they have. All right? Just do that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. I will see you guys, hopefully, after the Phil podcast later on today, and hopefully something is going to be worthwhile. So I should see you guys in the upcoming days, I guess. Yet again, happy Thanksgiving. This is GTG signing off. Have a good one.